Hey y'all, welcome back to Hopped Up Beer Review. Today we are drinking Adult Nap Time by Millstream Brewing Company out of Amana, Iowa. Thanks for joining us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Hopped Up Beer Review, the show where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking and reviewing. We are back to do that again. I've got Andy ready to take a nap in his attic. I've got Jay. I am Ben. What are we sipping on today, gentlemen?
Adult Nap Time. Excuse me.
Sleepy
It is
time.
a pecan porter. It's a porter, but a pecan porter by Millstream Brewing Company out of Amana, Iowa. Thanks for joining us.
Night, night.
You're having a reoccurring dream right there, aren't you?
I know. It's like deja vu.
All right.
Oh, wow.
Ordered look.
Wow, man.
Just take that smell of it. Yeah. Have to get the aroma hands going for this one.
Yo.
Yeah.
Perks you up. This is no.
Whew.
Where I'm come from, we say pecan, but I know there's a lot of pecan people out there. Shame on
I'm
them.
with you. I'm in your boat, brother.
Yeah. We say pecan.
But yeah, the pecan just smacks you a boot. Little.
It does.
Mm-hmm. Look at that. Makes the glass look good.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates. Ooh.
That is rich.
What is all in this? That is peculiar.
Deconstruct that one, Andrew.
Yeah. Well, I wish I had a little more help from Millstream Brewing Company, but I didn't, because all I can tell you about this particular beer, other than being a pecan porter, is that it's 5.9% and 32 IBUs. Now, the can does say that it is, 1 pint of lager with pecan flavoring. Now, did they brew it
But
with
actual pecans?
like we have had other beers, like who are we talking about? Lazy Magnolia, who claimed to be the first to actually brew with pecans in it. They were a 2005 brewery. So Millstream Brewing Company is a 1985. But there's a microbrewery. It's weird. Usually when you see microbreweries, they're not so old, but this is, it's a 38-year-old brewery, and it's still a microbrewery, so they really didn't expand. And they quote themselves as Iowa's original craft brewery. They also brew soda as well.
I think it's our first Iowan beer.
I was about to say, I can only think of, no, we have not reviewed any beer from Iowa, and I can only think of one other beer from Iowa that plays out in my mind. It was called Hop Wrangler #3, but I can't remember from which brew it was, and I think I've got it somewhere in Untapped. And I was like, "Well, this is a great IPA. I would love to find another one." But I don't think of beer when I think of Iowa, but it's good beer. Iowa, y'all need to brew some more. So back to Millstream Brewing Company, Amana, Iowa. The brewery is on a Millstream, the Amana Millstream. I'm hoping it's Amana and not Amana. I apologize if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly. So a Millstream is another term for a mill race, and it is a channel from a larger body of water carrying the swift current of water to drive a mill wheel. So a Millstream. So I looked on the map at Amana and this Millstream, and It is actually a small, really thin line depicted from this other body of water, and it runs through this a good span. But that's how they operated things back in the day, mill streams. So it's pretty cool.
Is that it?
Is that your lesson for today?
We can talk to more. We can deconstruct the can. I thought this was pretty cool. Before we started recording, we were talking about what's on the can there. Jay, you mentioned
Yeah, there's all sorts of interesting clothing articles.
Yeah, so
from a bow
adult nap
tie
time,
to
nap time.
unmentionables. I mean, you have some high heel shoes and
Yeah,
lots of hearts going on there. I don't know what that's all about.
I'm thinking there's nothing about sleep going in.
Yeah, I'm thinking they're
time.
implying some afternoon delight, baby.
Afternoon delight is exactly what I was thinking. So what am I doing with this on?
The foot.
What am I doing with this on? Let me get into character even more.
Andy, come on, please.
You
please.
don't want to see this? I had to find some
you might blind the viewers.
I don't have to change the rating on this episode just because
TV.
We have a rating.
Yeah,
we don't.
Intolerable. It should be our rating.
Watch at your own risk.
Yeah, you watch and you will fall asleep.
There you go. Explains all of our shows.
Yeah, there's a foot in there too. I mean,
yeah. That's what I don't get, the foot.
Yeah.
So
certain fetishes, you never know. But also on the can, it says "Ziggy Zaggy Oi Oi Oi." Now, I first found out about this from that wonderfully bad show, The Man Show, back was it the late 90s, early 2000s on Comedy Central with Adam Carell and Jimmy Kimmel. And they had the guy who's now deceased who would play the piano, and they would do zigzag. And this is the guy who had a couple of mugs of beer and just could take them out in a second each. So I was
why is he deceased?
Yes. Yeah, he passed away.
Why is he deceased?
Liver malfunction. I don't know.
Oh, great. Yeah.
I really don't know him. So I looked up Ziggy Zaggy Oi Oi Oi, and where's that from? It is the ending to a song called Ein Prosit, and it's a traditional German toast to health and well-being. And if you go to some German, beer fests or Oktoberfest, you're going to hear that song or that phrase a lot. And so when you've shared some, Ben, when you shared some of the Oktoberfest from Munich in the beer tents or in the beer gardens and under the tents, and I've heard that phrase multiple times. So,
yeah, I think that kind of started for me during the COVID period. I'm guessing that if you're watching YouTube, you probably at some point went down YouTube rabbit holes, whether COVID or not. But during COVID, my YouTube rabbit hole was Oktoberfest celebrations around the world, and watched a lot of videos from Munich. And yeah, shared with these guys some of those. And, because we all know the blue checker and Oktoberfest, that time of year is just, that's just my jam. So
it's like crack for Ben. I mean, it's just like, ooh.
Yeah. I see that blue check on any beer, I'm gonna buy it. So, that's all the can art you have to have for me. But back to adult nap time. We actually got this out of the Chicago area. So had some family visiting that area, and they were nice enough to drop in a beer store and grab us some beer. And this was one of them that I directed them to grab. And so, yeah.
Based on the can, right, man?
Sure. Sure, I guess. I think I was more interested in the pecan porter necessarily than the foot. The foot was definitely not for me, but hey, sure thing. So anyway, let's get to reviewing, I guess, is what the look I'm getting from Andy is. You might just want to, All right.
Blind
I know
taster.
none of us
Yeah.
have had this before. So with that, Andy, since you're blinded, you're doing the blind taste test. Why don't you go first?
It is. I'm trying to pick out what that other flavor is. Now you can definitely get that pecan flavoring, but it is a bold pecan, and it's. Do y'all get any vanilla out of
Yep,
this?
that's exactly what I was gonna say.
It's like they
You
put
get
in a lot of vanilla flavoring, like artificial vanilla flavoring.
Yep. I was gonna wait until I reviewed it, but yeah, I agree with
Yeah,
you.
and maybe this helps my tasting senses even more. Um, it's interesting, but that when you add vanilla flavoring to some, it just takes a little bit of vanilla, and this tastes like a lot of vanilla flavoring, and so it's kind of it's got that aroma that just knocks you in the face, and not your sleep mask goes flying, and it's almost a little overbearing. It's fun. I drink it again, but I give it a 7.0. A little too much of that vanilla flavoring to me. How'd I do?
You did great.
Thank
Go
you.
back to sleep.
I need affirmations.
Jay, what do you think?
It's interesting. You and I were having a little discussion before we started, and there was a pecan ale that I've had many years ago that kind of set the standard for some of the pecans for me. And interestingly enough, it was more of a pecan vanilla type combination. So it's ironic that we talk about that. I can pick up. I agree, Andy. There's too much, and I'm curious, since there's no information on it, if it says pecan flavoring. So I really wonder more so if rather than brewing with pecans, they're putting just some pecan liquid flavoring into the beer rather than actual pecans. Um, I can pick up things like vanilla, and there's little hints of cocoa in there to me, and maybe some caramel with the roasty flavor of the pecans. It's very complex and very hard to decipher all of it. I struggle because like I said, there was a bar that was set high for me probably, I don't know, 10, 15 years ago when I was in Albuquerque. There's a brewery out there that has a fantastic pecan ale. Um, so I think I'm going to have to, based on the pecan flavoring, some of that artificial flavoring, I think I'm going to go with Andy, and this will probably be about a 7.5. I like it. I want to love it, but it's hard for me to think that it's an all kind of natural type thing. There's other flavors in there that just seem to kind of throw it a little off, but it's good. I would drink it again, but it's not one I could sit here and have multiples of. So
All right. Yeah, this is not one you're gonna have 5 of. You're not gonna probably have 3 of. You might have 2 of, but this one it's very full bodied, in my opinion. There's a lot there, just from the moment you crack the can. I mean, you get slapped in the face with the aroma of that pecan. And I think there definitely is a lot there that you can try to pull out. And I think we've kind of all hit the nail on the head that hey, the pecan is obviously there. The vanilla is, what we think is an additive as well. Um, but man, it is. There's a lot to unpack with this beer. It's not every sip you're trying to find that other flavor. And to Jay's point, I think there's probably several things the 3 of us haven't identified in our discussion here as well. I personally, after drinking this one, and I had a Lazy Magnolia Southern Pecan recently, last couple of weeks, I don't know why while there aren't more pecan beers, I think that's a great flavor for beer. I don't really even like nuts that much. Like I'm not like a big pecan lover, but man,
Sweet
the
and
flavor
buttery. Yeah.
when the flavor with a beer is really, really good, in my opinion. And I really like this one. I think the flavors all blend well together. It's again, it's not subtle at all. It all is smacking you with every sip. But that's okay. That's fun. So with that, I mean, for me, I think this one's an 8. I would definitely love to have this one again and love to try to pick out the flavors every time you drink it because I'm getting that on every sip here. But yeah, I think it's fun. I wish we could get more of it. I wish it was in our area and we could, grab one every once in a while. Right now we're recording this and it's hot outside, but man, this is a good winter beer, especially I think in my opinion.
Yeah,
Good campfire beer.
it's got a buttery taste to it too. And it tastes a lot heavier than 5.9%. It just it sits on you. But when you were talking, I looked up pecan flavoring and pecan type extract, and it is propylene glycol, ethyl alcohol, and natural and artificial flavor, whatever that is. But it's a sugar, and this is an extract that's sugar and gluten free, but does not contain any pecans or tree nuts.
So the
It's
reason
made
they
to
might do some of that, A, to get the taste, and B, there's so many people that have the nut allergies these days. So you don't have to put that nut allergy on the can or on the package. So
I think if this is what like Chat GPT, some AI would think that pecans would taste like and create this. It's like, this is your pecan, that's what it is. But it's just like, it's a little too much pecan because pecan is subtle. And I think with the ones we've had, the other pecan flavored beer is a little more subtle than this. This is just like pecan.
And here in 2023, AI even infects Hopped Up Beer Review as it has every aspect of our lives.
Definitely, says the guy who's all over the social media.
That is going to give us a 7.5 for the adult nap time pecan porter from Millstream Brewing Company out of Iowa. As we've talked about,
Amana, Iowa.
I can just say Iowa at this point. I mean, they've already heard you say it 2 or 3 times. Definitely one that I think it's interesting. And we've talked a little bit about how is it made with pecans or pecan flavoring and what we really get out of that. I think that it's one you should try if you can find it and let us know what you think about it. You made it this far and you didn't immediately turn this show off, given Andy's garb here, then hey, this show is obviously for you. You need to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. You also need to check us out on social medias. All those links are down below in the description. And there is a link for our Discord server, Hopped Up Beer Review. You come chat about beer. You can come talk to us, talk to everybody else that is a big fan of this show, that one other person. And you can talk about life too, other things. Jay, our sales team over here is repping our merch and showing that off. So we'll have a link for that down there too, if you want to grab some of that. With that, definitely appreciate you watching, making it this far. We've made it this far. So at this point, we're going to cheers, mates. For Andy in the attic and Jay, I'm Ben. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Go take a nap, Andy.
Good night, all.